An attacker can get a lot of information about a company or about an organization just navigating through their websites, right? Even though footprinting typically is done using passive reconnaissance or open source intelligence, and you're not supposed to send any packets to the victim for them to know that you were probing their systems. In this case, you're actually just navigating through their website, right? And just gathering information about what the company actually does. Of course, I'm actually using secretcorp.org, which is a site that I created for different video courses and books that I create. This is not a malicious site whatsoever, right? But this is to demonstrate, what an attacker can actually get, rather for me to go over a real website here. Now, a couple of things that you can do to navigate through the website and, of course, get additional information other than just reading the text, right? That's a given, right? You can read the text, become familiar with what the organization is doing, perhaps, some of the users, key people. In many cases, you will see executives information and some sections on the website where they may have information about the board of directors, how the organization is structured, the headquarters information, and the offices around the world. However, you can also get information about the organization and underlying systems by just looking at the digital certificates that are within these web services or web portals, right, the websites. So if you're looking here, right, you see that the connection is secure, but if you actually click on that, it says that it's verified by Let's Encrypt. If you click on more information, of course, I'm using Parrot in this case, so the screen that you will see in your browser may be different depending on whether you're using Chrome, whether you're using Windows or Mac OS X or Linux. But in this case, you actually see that the website is Secret Corp. The website did not supply ownership information. However, in many cases, many websites, they provide information about, who actually owns it. And you see that it's verified by Let's Encrypt. Let's Encrypt is a free certificate service that exists out there. But if you click on the view certificate, now you're getting a lot more information about the certificate. You're getting information about the common name. In some cases, you actually will see the same organization or additional information about the subordinate certificate authorities. You actually see here the issuer, which is Let's Encrypt. So in the case of another site, you may actually see the CA certificate. So in other words, CA stands for Certificate Authority. In this case, of course, the certificate authority is Let's Encrypt, and the actual subordinate CA is R3. And hopefully you're familiar with root certificates, root CA, subordinate CAs, and so on. But in very, very short, a certificate is issued by an entity. That entity is called a certificate authority. At the very minimum, you have the root CA, but you can also have subordinate CAs. So I'll put here sub 1 and sub 2. In this case, I know that R3 is basically one of the subordinate root CAs because if you click on this, you see that the actual organization of that CA, the root, is root CAX3, right? And you can get additional information about the actual underlying technologies that it's using, right? So if I go back to secretcorp.org, that certificate for that website, you see things like the signature algorithm. You may actually see that if the organization is using weak crypto algorithms for their implementation here. You also see different things around the certificate policies, the embedded information like the signature algorithms, as I mentioned before, but the validity period, and many other things that may be very beneficial to an attacker to then leverage some either misconfiguration or weak, implementation of a crypto algorithm or implementation. Another thing that you can get by just navigating through the websites is basically going and trying to see if they have a robot.txt file. And what this is that website owners use this robots.txt file to give instructions about their sites to web crawlers, so search engines and other web crawlers. And in many cases, actually, this is referred to as the robots exclusion protocol. And it works that you allow or disallow what areas within the website should not be indexed and should be ignored. In this case, you actually can get a lot of different information about different content that the website may actually have without even navigating through it, right? Things that you didn't know that existed. For example, an admin portal or additional content. This staging may be a developer staging environment where they're running tests against a specific code or specific applications that they're developing, right? Or a staging area, right? Information about users. And then you can then navigate through that or further enumerate those directories and different structures using other tools, of course, then performing active reconnaissance.